Scene 2. Covered in dust, rust, and memories of a past life, the Supra sat silently. Most people would see an old abandoned covered in dust, rust, and memories of a past life. Every great restoration begins with a decision. A decision to save something that others have already given up on. After finding the abandoned Supra, the mechanic meets its owner. The original key, a small piece of history, is finally handed over. The moment the key changes hands, the journey begins. This forgotten machine is no longer waiting to decay. It is waiting to be rebuilt. Before any restoration can begin, the car must leave its old life behind. Slowly and carefully, the damaged Supra has only just started. Beneath the rust and damage, the heart of this legend is still waiting to be awakened. Every scratch and every layer of rust tells a story. Years of weather, time, and neglect have left their fingerprints inside the workshop. The first inspection reveals the true challenge ahead. Nothing will be hidden. Every damaged component restoration begins with one goal: return the Supra to the condition it deserves. Not just to look beautiful, but to bring back the soul of the machine. Step is removing everything that has aged with time. Panels, interior parts, and mechanical components are carefully separated. Component removed, the true condition of the Supra could finally be revealed. Years of moisture and neglect had quietly eaten away at the chassis, hiding corrosion beneath the surface. Every inch of the body was now carefully inspected, measured. The damage was more extensive than anyone had expected. Rust had spread through critical sections of the floor, rocker panels, and the damage was more extensive than anyone had expected. Rust had spread through critical sections of the floor, rocker panels. One by one, the newly fabricated panels were carefully welded into place. Every weld was completed with patience and precision. With the structural welding complete, every weld bead was carefully ground smooth and blended into the original bodywork. What had once been severe studio microphone scene 19, voiceover. Now came one of the most important stages of the restoration. With the chassis fully repaired and protected, attention shifted to the suspension. Every component had spent years exposed to rust, dirt, and while the suspension components were being restored, the heart of the Supra waited nearby. The original 2JZ GTE engine. Every component of the 2JZ GTE was carefully dismantled and inspected. From the cylinder head to the crankshaft, each part. Years of carbon buildup, worn seals, and hardened deposits were carefully removed from every engine component. One by one, with every component restored to factory condition, the engine rebuild could finally begin. New bearings, piston rings, seals, and gaskets were installed with absolute precision. This wasn't about building more power. With the body fully assembled, only one final detail remained. The restored factory alloy wheels were carefully mounted and torqued to specification before the Supra was gently lowered onto the ground for the first time. After countless hours of craftsmanship, it finally stood proudly on its own. With the body fully assembled, only one final detail remained. The restored factory alloy wheels were carefully mounted and torqued to specification before the Supra was gently lowered onto the ground for the first time. After countless hours of craftsmanship, it finally stood proudly on its own four wheels once again. Strong, complete, and ready for the road. Every successful first start is followed by one final inspection. As the engine reached operating temperature, every hose, every fitting, and every connection was carefully checked. There were no leaks, no warning lights, and no unexpected sounds. The rebuilt 2JZ GTE performed exactly as it had when it first left the factory, a testament to patience, precision, and uncompromising craftsmanship. With every final check complete, there was only one thing left to do. The Supra slowly rolled out of the workshop under its own power for the first time in years. As the morning sunlight reflected across the flawless Supra Red 2 paint, every hour of hard work, every challenge, the journey was finally complete. What began as a forgotten shell buried beneath years of dust and rust had been transformed into a masterpiece of engineering once again. Every bolt, every weld, every coat of paint, and every hour of dedication had one purpose: to preserve the legacy of one of the greatest sports cars ever built. This wasn't just a restoration. Studio microphone scene 49. Final closing voiceover. As this chapter comes to an end, one thing becomes clear. True legends never really disappear. They simply wait for someone willing to believe in them again. This 1994 Toyota Supra Twin Turbo was more than just a restoration project. It was a journey of patience, craftsmanship, and respect for automotive history. Every challenge overcome and every detail restored brought this icon one step closer to the road where it belongs. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. If you enjoyed watching this legendary transformation, don't forget to support the channel by liking, subscribing, and sharing this documentary.